Members of the Senate, welcome back. Welcome back to a second year of a two-year session and a 27-page calendar. My fellow members, South Carolina is rolling. Our economy is hitting on all cylinders. We have $1.8 billion surplus money this year. When I say we have, that's a misnomer. They have. The citizens of this state have $1.8 billion surplus money, and it's our job to prioritize that money. The reason I think we have this additional money is twofold. Mr. Chairman, one is conservative budgeting and a robust economy. We are required, Mr. Chairman, to have a balanced budget. That's something that I wish the federal government had, a requirement for a balanced budget. And talking about our budget this year, the chairman has shared with me year after year after year that we must, to write a budget and to pass a budget, there must be consensus. But members of the Senate, if we have earmarks or items in the budget that we want to take credit for back home, we must be willing to have ownership of that request here. Hopefully we will do that this year. Transparency in the budget, a consensus budget. And this year, I think sunshine will shine on the budget, and hopefully by the time the budget hits the governor's desk, you will have a suntan. I look forward to that this year. Let's talk about education a little bit. Senator from Lexington, you and I have said year after year after year, education is a nonpartisan, it is not a partisan issue. And this year, I think, well, in years past, we've passed the oral exam. But this year, we're going to pass the written exam. I look forward to that. Early in the session, that we'll pass the written exam when it comes to education. And the governor, we have an ally in the governor's office. Do you know how I realize he means business and education in this state? That's when he hired Melanie Barton. That's told me he meant business and for education in this state. And quite frankly, in my opinion, I think she's one of the best when it comes to education policy in this state. And Senator from Lexington, I see you grinning. You deserve accolades for noticing that talent early on. So thank you. And we've talked about 4K. 4K is nothing new. Senator from Florence will tell you, if you think a 4-year-old is too young to learn, just hand that 4-year-old an iPad and watch that 4-year-old work. 4K, Senator from Darlington, Senator from Kershaw, Senator from Horry, we've been working on that for several years, and we welcome the governor's support in this effort. Here again, a nonpartisan effort. Now let's talk about Santee Cooper. There's a TV ad in the upstate, you senators from the upstate seen it, and they had advertising a heating and air conditioning business. And he looks into the camera and says, you may pay off your mortgage, but you will never pay off your utility bill. And when I hear that ad, I think of Santee Cooper. Hopefully we will address Santee Cooper this year. I'm, like you, are anxiously awaiting the report of the Department of Administration on our options for Santee Cooper. I ask you, as my mama says, keep an open mind, but don't open it so wide that your brain falls out. Hopefully we'll settle the Santee Cooper question this year. The heartbeat bill. You know how I like to say, put things in Gaffney's, put things like you can understand them. A buddy of mine, retired highway patrolman, was talking to me about the heartbeat bill. He told me when he was a patrolman, when he would ride up on an accident scene, he'd see a victim laying there. If the victim had a heartbeat, he called the ambulance. If the victim didn't have a heartbeat, he called the coroner. And he said to me, and I've thought about this, he put it out as plain as you can make it. If a heartbeat determines your death, why can't a heartbeat determine life? I want you to think about that during the debate. This is an election year. You all know my grandfather was a dairy farmer. He believed in good fences. He always said, good fences make good neighbors. Senator from Orangeburg, he also said, if a man's got any son of a gun in him at all, it'd come out when you start running the property line. Politicians in an election year seems the same way. So members of the Senate, it's going to be up to me to try to keep decorum in the Senate. I will do that firmly and fairly using the rules. So, the majority is ready for work, the minority is ready for work, governor, speaker, the Senate's ready for work, so be it.